Well, clients, candidates, in fact, people in general can just be so annoying. Well, that's people for you. Well, that's no help. I was expecting maybe some pearls of wisdom to help me to understand why people are such morons. Okay, all right. Let's see if this helps. Have you tried perceptual positioning? Never heard of it. What are you talking about? Well, in NLP terms, and I'm talking neuro-linguistic programming here and not natural language processing for all you techies out there, it's a way of seeing situations from the other person's perspective. In other words, putting yourself in their shoes. Yeah, well, I mean, that's nothing new, is it? I mean, all you've done is given it a fancy title. But I mean, in practice, how does it actually work? Well, look, if you have a problem with a person or perhaps a difficult situation, you should look at it from 3 different perspectives. So that way you have an all-round and well-informed view before you go flying off the handle. Are you accusing me of jumping in too quick and flying off the handle? Well, if the cap fits, is that another NLP term? No, but I have seen you in action and I've seen you get into trouble with the speed of your response and without giving enough time to think about what you're going to do or what you're going to say next. Okay, all right, get the point. Thanks for your support. You do know that everyone is listening to this. They don't need to know about that stuff. So what are the 3 perspectives of this perceptual positioning, easy for me to say, that you've just mentioned? Well, in simple terms, position 1 is you. You looking at the situation from your perspective and putting into words what the problem is and how you see it from your side. Don't use emotional language because that could distort it. Just use facts about what's been seen and what's been observed and what's been heard. Okay, well, look, I mean, that sounds easy enough. I mean, these people never return my calls when they said they would. They don't turn up for the interview, even though they said they were going to attend the interview. The clients, well, they don't return my terms. Again, they're all idiots. Okay, look, another thing. Take one thing at a time. Otherwise, it'll just become all too cumbersome and too big to deal with. And don't call them idiots, as you don't understand why they're acting that way. So you look at it from their perspective and state factually what you believe the issue is. Okay, got it. So basically, don't get totesy mosh. Yes, definitely, don't get totesy mosh, whatever that means. The second step is to now become the other person. Really put yourself in their shoes and explain the situation factually based upon what you've seen and what you've heard from your point of view. Okay, that sounds easy enough. I'm quite good at acting. This should be an absolute breeze. Actually, it isn't. You really have to embody the other person. Forget about your own personal agenda and points of view. You know, be the other person to the best of your abilities and, most importantly, be honest. See, but what's the point of that? It's just going to be me stating what I think the other person's point of view is and not mine. Exactly. You see, now you're getting it. Oh, I see. So before I fly off the handle, I wasn't seeing it from the other person's perspective. I just dived straight in with my own agenda and no thought for theirs. Well, that seems quite simple enough. I thought you said there was a third step. Oh, yeah, there is. And this is where I need the fly on the wall. Who's that? Bzzz. Hello. Oh, this is the fly on the wall. Someone who's been listening to everything you've said, and he will act a bit like an adjudicator, a referee, a facilitator. Yes, I'm up here looking down on you two, and I've listened to the situation from your perspective and from the other person's perspective. I've listened to the situation from the other person's point of view, and I'm completely impartial. So now you're going to tell me what to do. No, he isn't. No, I'm not going to tell you what to do, because if you've done this properly and honestly, you've already started to identify some of the solutions of how to handle the situation going forward. Well, how does that work? Well, I might say, so Alan, you've heard things from your point of view and now the other person's point of view, and you know how they view the situation. So based upon that, how are you now going to approach the situation? Or I might say, what advice would you give yourself? Now you've actually understood it from the other person's perspective and from your perspective, and you haven't made any assumptions. So then I come in with my own solutions because I've taken the time to consider it from the other person's perspective before I fly off the handle and act too quick, because that could cause additional problems and stresses. Exactly. By George, I think he's got it. Who's George? Yes, exactly. I think he has, definitely. Now, you can act this out in the office. You can physically move around the office into each position, or you can just take some time and work through it in your own head. You know, you're probably the most helpful fly I've ever come across. Thank you. So, I think it's clear. People may have perfectly good reasons for acting the way that they do. You just need to appreciate that and then adapt your approach, your thought process, and of course your response accordingly. Do you know what? Couldn't have put it better myself. So, are we done yet? No, there's just one more thing. You know, the recruiter fit message. 1, 2, 3. Stay mentally fit, physically fit, and of course, recruiter fit.